I didn't agree to this.
What's going on, man?
I didn't agree to this.
What are you talking about?
Take it off.
This is what the fans expect, mate. This is the Japanese podcast.
Yeah, but I did not agree.
Where's yours?
Thankfully, back in whichever onsen you got that from.
It's mad. This is what the fans expect. They expect... I mean, what am I going to do with this then?
Hopefully sit on it.
Oh, my God. Shall I change?
Yeah.
All right, let's just do a little cut there. Bloody hell.
Come back, I want to tell you to fall on your sword instead.
Unbelievable. This is the worst podcast in the world, mate.
Did you buy it or did you get it from an onsen?
I bought that.
Why?
Bought that in a street in Tanuki Koji. There was like a market going on. I was just like, oh my God, a samurai sword.
No,
so I bought it.
Not the sword, the yukata.
Oh, the yukata. My ex got me that. Let's not talk about that. Cut. Oh, do you want some tea?
Oh, please.
Look at that. This is... You don't get this on any other podcasts. I think it's too strong.
Really?
And we've got a kanpai. What are you doing? Oh, this is terrible. Come on.
Oh, fucking
kanpai. Is it
kanpai.
Too strong?
It's real strong. It will keep me awake though.
Oh shit. Worst opening, worst tea. This is going well, isn't it?
How's the... I was going to say.
So this is mochi. This is what I made yesterday, boys and girls.
Do we have to kanpai this as well?
We don't, but I reckon we should. I reckon we should start a little thing in Japan where you kanpai food.
Itadaki kanpai.
This is Itadaki kanpai.
Kanpai.
Heard it here first.
That's alright, you know.
Joe approved.
This is especially what podcast listeners really love listening to, and that's people eating on mic.
What is with that craze at the moment? Like everyone, hang on.
Oh, actually,
let's do it.
Don't ASMR. Don't ASMR. I really hope it didn't pick it up.
I didn't have to make that sound either. That was a bit erotic, wasn't it?
That was a grunt.
Right, so we're here to discuss Japan. Obviously, everyone knows me because I'm famous across the world.
Again, I didn't agree to this.
But this is Joe Scott. He's
You're putting my full name out. Don't Facebook me.
Oh yeah, we'll edit that.
No, it's fine. Okay. Just beep out the last name.
Well, but I'll beep out the first name as well. So it's like, this is beep beep.
And then from this moment on, you will never refer to me by name.
Okay, what should I call you then? Oi. 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 Why don't I call you like a Japanese name? Kensuke.
I hate that. Okay, that's another thing that I hate.
What's that?
Is fucking foreigners coming to Japan and adopting a Japanese name.
Oh, like they think that's...
This one guy used the excuse of no one can say my last name. It's like, I don't care, don't call yourself fucking real.
yeah.
That's a bad example.
That's our mate, yeah.
And
no, I know what you mean.
I remember someone said something to him and it was like a Japanese place name and he said, oh yeah, that's my Japanese name. And I was like, that doesn't exist, don't do that.
Especially when they've picked it themselves and they're like, oh yeah, that's my Japanese name. It's like, it's not like one of my teachers gave me kanji. It's like a stamp, and that was really nice. She was like, oh yeah, I know you like the colour like red, so I chose red kanji for like your first half of the name. I was like, okay, this is well thought out, but it was still my name in Japanese kanji, so it was Dekuran. But when people think like they select their own name, yeah, I'm a Tokyo Declan, and it's just like, no, that annoys me a lot.
To be fair, that just sounds like someone, do you know,
Actually, this is really nice.
Do you know on those Japanese TV shows where they just have the panel of people and there's like the token halfie and their names are always there, like Mary Sugiwara or something. It's like the most... Mary's not a good example again, but something like...
No, I know what you mean.
Terrence Tanaka or something.
Tanaka, TT, yeah.
That's like a weird Marvel character.
To be honest, like this podcast, we actually have no plan at all for what we're going to do. But things like that, when you just mentioned now the TV... I could literally go on 20 minutes just by myself speaking about
I think the issue
how annoying it is, how good it is sometimes, but mostly how shit it is. Like the reactions and everything.
My problem is that I'm just constantly told that I talk way too much. I kind of need an outlet for that. Like,
it's perfect. But yeah, like...
trying to eat as silently as possible.
No, go for it, man. So basically, yeah, we want to do this podcast because a lot of people have requested it, but also we have so much banter about Japan.
We both stories.
Yeah, we both got a lot of anecdotes. We don't hate Japan at all, far from it. We love Japan.
We love the fact that we live here.
Yeah, we wouldn't live here if we hated it.
And as a complete antithesis to the whole top 5 things to do in Shibuya. At this point, you could make a collection of like 4 million things to do there.
It's like if you type in like things to do in Tokyo. Literally 20 YouTubers come up. Top 8 things to do in Tokyo. Top 13 things to do in Akihabara.
And that's fine. It helps people. But also, there are some not so great things about living here.
And I think that's true as well, because those videos are more like, if you come to Japan for a week, what to do. But as we live here, this is more about living in Japan and what we found out, having lived here for quite some time now, both of us.
Yeah.
And especially like after year 1, when the tax hits you.
Yeah. It's just
a fucking shock.
Oh, yeah. The not so great things that you may come across when living here, especially because of how inherently different living in Tokyo is to living in Sapporo. Like, both are very big cities. Tokyo, the biggest in the world. Yeah, in
biggest, metropolitan.
Yeah. Because it includes like Yokohama and everything.
Yeah.
And Sapporo, by no means a small city, Japan's 5th largest. 2 million people live here. Twice as big as Birmingham. Represent. It's
from Birmingham, if you didn't know that. Supports Birmingham as well.
Go fuck yourself, you Mackham. But that's not like a slur or anything. It's Sunderland people. But there are kind of different expectations from Tokyo to Sapporo. Even things with Osaka and then going to like Nagoya, they're so close to each other, but things are very different. And it's kind of like in terms of Hokkaido as well. Hokkaido is so different to Honshu and everything like that.
Like, actually, Sapporo, or it's either Sapporo or Hokkaido, is voted the best city or prefecture in Japan every single year.
Hokkaido has it's something to do with resident satisfaction. It's ranked the highest out of the whole of Japan, and I think in terms of like tourism as well, it's the destination that people most want to visit, like Japanese people most want to visit, because they have this perception of it being like the wild north. Because
some nights it is, to be honest. We've been out on a few.
Go to Sisakina on a Friday night is very much.
We'll save that for another podcast.
But because obviously the western side even of Hokkaido is quite. It's developed. It's got Sapporo, like Asahikawa, Otaru, Hakodate. Then you look at the eastern side of it, where it's like Shiratoko, and people go to see bears. And,
And then there's like glacier, like watching, and whale watching, and
what's
bear
it called?
Hunting. I don't know.
The drift ice.
Yeah.
Just drive boats into it.
Yeah.
So it's
more too, by the way.
I'm okay at the moment, thank you. But Hokkaido is like very, very different to the rest of Japan. And
absolutely,
for the better, as far as I'm concerned. Hokkaido's arguably my favourite place in the world.
Yeah.
But saying that, it's not without its faults, which is what will be discussed.
Yeah. Like, when I actually applied to come and teach in Japan, initially they sent me to they were going to send me to this this village, like 400 people in the middle of nowhere near Fukushima. And I was like, what the hell? Really? So I went online, Googled it, and it was like amenities. 1 closed down power plants, which might have been the Fukushima one. 1 swimming pool and 1 convenience store. And I was like, that's not the Japan I want.
Yeah.
So then I said no to that, and they said, right, you have to take the next offer, otherwise it's either yes or no. And I was like, oh shit. So they said, okay, your next offer is Sapporo.
Oh man.
And I was like, where the hell's that? Sapporo?
I remember my introduction to Sapporo was, Joanna Lumley, British sweetheart. Yeah. She did a travel show where she went to Japan and she did like top to bottom pretty much. And she went to Sapporo during the snow festival. And I was like, holy, like that place looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, but then on my form, I put that I wanted to live in Kanto because I was there like, Tokyo, I want to be able to travel a day trip to Tokyo and stuff. Thank God I did not get that.
know.
But then other people in my group, they said that they wanted Hokkaido.
And they got Kanto.
And they got Kanto.
That's
and
weird,
I got Hokkaido.
I don't know why they do that.
They pay absolutely no attention to what you want.
No. And I think I'm so glad I live here now. This is the perfect city. It's not too big.
Agreed.
It's not too small.
I am
the nightlife is
sick
quality.
of
It's also
Tokyo.
living in Tokyo is impossible. Occasionally some people love it,
but
foreigners. But that's like 1 out of 50 people.
Living in Birmingham as well, and then going to London on like a day trip. I hate London.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
It's exhausting. Everyone looks miserable. Transport is like horrifically full.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you don't have enough time to even think.
That's
and
the thing.
Tokyo's like that.
Yeah, like the rush hour videos. I'm sure everyone's seen it, where people are just like the staff are shoving people onto trains.
It's true. And it's
I'd
only
be like, get off me! What are you doing?
It's only going to get worse as well.
Yeah.
Because,
I know, especially with the Olympics. Oh my God! Touch wood. We said that at the same time. You can't speak now for 7 years. No, you can't speak or you get bad luck for 7 years.
This is going to be a really bad podcast.
I know it is.
I'm just breaking that duck.
I know.
But
well, there we go. So basically Sapporo is almost the perfect city. It's got events around the year. It's not too hot in winter. It's not too hot inside.
It's fucking freezing in winter.
It's like -5 outside now, and it's only getting colder. But summer,
this is a warm one as well.
Yeah, I know it hasn't snowed much this year. But like in summer, for me, it's perfect. It's 28, 30.
My first summer here, it hit 36, and people.
Shit.
I'm not. If there's any American listeners, use the real form of
36. If you don't understand what 36 degrees means, then this podcast ain't for you.
Yeah, or it
seriously,
is.
We need you to subscribe.
Just Google it.
Yeah. Then you like double it and add 25.
I'm not even going to pretend to know, but yeah, and it hit 36, and all the locals were saying this is quite hot. Like this is surprisingly hot. But then last summer it was. I think it hit 33 max, and it gets hot, but it's not that humid like Osaka, where it's like feels like 40 degrees.
Yeah,
and I'm drenched. Because
Osaka's like it's 35, and then
like
it feels
42.
like 40. Yeah, and then because all the buildings are so close, there's no wind either.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's just like you're hot and you're sweating and everything, but then like the wind comes and like it's perfect for bike rides and park golf. We're like pros, so
sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor. Actually, does this podcast have a sponsor yet? Doesn't, does it?
Park golf.
Park golf. I mean, if you want to sponsor this podcast, let us know.
Should we go down to the old ladies?
The old bar sound, like impress them with our like eagles and
just tell them about hole in one again.
Yeah, I mean, like if any green tea companies are out there, or when we do the beer challenge, maybe we can promote the beer.
Strong Zero.
Oh my god, Strong Zero. If you don't know what Strong Zero is, if you come to Japan, this is. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing.
Don't encourage it. It's dangerous and horrible.
But like, okay, so say if you come to Japan on a budget and you want to get drunk, say you want to go to karaoke or something, go to a convenience store and find Strong Zero. But seriously, be warned, 1 can is enough.
It's enough.
It's Strong Zero is...
Unless you have a massive tolerance for alcohol, in which case 2 cans, because it's an alco pop that's 9%, but it hits like a truck.
Yeah, it's 9%.
Not a Japanese truck where they look like they've been put in the tumble dryer for 3 hours.
But what's the alcohol? It's shochu, right?
Yeah,
shochu. So it's basically it's shochu is kind of like vodka, but not as strong. That's what it kind of tastes like.
If you want to have if you want to have an insight into Japanese drinking culture and how thoroughly unhealthy it is, Strong Zero is like the best introduction to that.
Absolutely, Strong Zero. Forget the beer, forget the kind of umeshu.
But the beer's we're from Sapporo. Which we're not from Sapporo. Well, we live in Sapporo. Which has Japan's best beer.
Sapporo Classic.
Yeah.
Which we should kanpai to. Actually, no, it's too early at the moment.
We got
green tea. That's all right.
Not even 1 o'clock on a Monday.
So basically, on this channel, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly,
of which
there's a lot. Stuff that other podcasts are maybe too afraid to speak of, but we're not going to diss Japan or put it in a bad light.
Not afraid. I just think
it's more anecdotal stuff that we've experienced, that every other foreigner has experienced, that lives here, that people that come here on a holiday maybe don't know about. So it's more a refreshing look of Japan. And we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff as well. Obviously.
It's more like perspective,
like the beer. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of people who have an interest in Japanese culture, and I was the same before I came here. I very much put Japan on like a pedestal in terms of their culture.
Absolutely.
And you come here to live or to holiday, mostly to live, and you understand that like every other country, Japan is absolutely, it's just there are an incredible amount of issues.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, many people will say, "Oh, but other countries have these issues too." We know, but we're not talking about those. We don't live
that's the
there.
thing. We're not highlighting everything that's wrong with Japan. We're just bringing to attention stuff that, because we've lived in England most of our life,
and it's also for the sake of our sanity as well.
We need to vent sometimes.
An outlet for this shit that we have to deal with on a daily basis. We just constantly text
each other all the time. It's just like, "Oh my god, this fucking thing's just happened." It's like, "Oh my god, no, it's happened to me yesterday." And you're, "Oh no, it happened to me the day before as well." And
I'm like, I'm considerably safer now that there's snow on the ground and I can't cycle to work.
Oh no, we need to save that. Road rage episodes coming soon. So this is just like the introduction podcast, and then we're gonna have we're gonna kind of
work our way through topics.
Sort out, so we're gonna have like a kind of introduction for each podcast, get to the main topics. And then maybe if you've got some emails and questions for us, maybe you can leave them in the comments below. Patrons, you get a free question if you want to. And then we can just
patrons or patrons?
Oh, that's a good one.
I think it's patrons.
The site is Patreon, isn't it?
But I think patrons? That they are. It said. I think when I signed up for something, it said patron.
Did you sign up for me?
Is that
awkward now, isn't it? I thought you were contributing.
Is that where you're editing like birds chirping and like the wind blowing or something? That pregnant pause silence.
Yeah. Oh man,
hey, I support you enough in your daily life without giving you money.
You do, yeah.
And you still owe me a drink for the hole-in-one.
What, with that girl? Oh, Park Golf. Oh right, okay, yeah.
Again, I knew it was.
I've got a hole-in-one in case you didn't know that. By the way,
I knew it was a mistake when you put the yukata on, and I'm starting to like. Everything's being reaffirmed now.
Yeah. But no, like, just quickly, why do Japanese people carry dogs?
I thought that this was going to be like a joke, like why do, and there was going to be a punchline at the end.
This is serious, man. Why do they carry dogs? Because they're in parks as well. They're going around and they're carrying the dogs.
Because they're a fashion accessory. They don't treat them like an actual animal.
Yeah, it's literally, and it's always Oba-sans that have it, like old women. They let it down. I'm like, okay, like let it go. It's in the park. Dog does a little wee or a little shit or something, which they don't pick up. Okay, and then they just pick it up again and start walking. I'm like, let the dog walk.
I haven't once tried in dog shit in Japan.
I have.
Oh really?
I have. In the park as well. Maybe that's why I'm venting so much, because
you just got like repressed memories from dog shit.
But no, like speaking of that, like you do not find bins in Japan at all, and yet there is no trash or I'm American, right? Oh my god.
You've been Americanized by being surrounded.
It's because everything's in American English here. It's like soccer.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least it's not as bad when in class, if I say the letter R, they don't understand and I have to go R.
Yeah,
and then Ardu. Yeah. No, but it's not even Ardu. It's just like the American like rolled R. So R. And they're like, what's this? I'm like, it's a car. And they're like, it's a what? So it's a car.
Yeah. But I swear to God, like in class sometimes when I'm teaching, my soul departs a little bit when I say, I like soccer. And they repeat after me, and I'm like, but in Japan
they say
it's
soccer.
So I'm like,
soccer.
Yeah. But it's so annoying. Like, at least now I'm in high school, I kind of tell my students, no, it's football. It's football.
See, I don't have that much of an issue with soccer because I understand, like, I mean, American football, that's a whole...
Yeah, but like 99% of countries say football.
They don't.
But they do.
Even like
variations, like foosball.
Oh yeah, you have like football, like in Germany. But I think it's like you look at the other side, and I'm pretty sure that Brazil call it soccer, and Brazil are one of the biggest like footballing nations in the world. So it's like that doesn't bother me that much. It's the fact that they can't discern the difference with like their katakana pronunciation and the legitimate pronunciation of it. So it's like, I like soccer, and it's no, it's soccer.
Well,
soccer.
That's a whole topic on its own, isn't it? Like, teaching English and Japanese ability of English, because they're ranked one of the lowest in Asia for such a like highly economically diverse. Yeah, I mean, like some of my students who I remember teaching every day, like when they were like 14, 15 years old,
and they've had English education. Well, so now it's from the age of like 8, maybe earlier. Yeah. But from when you were teaching, they've been taught English for like 6 years.
Yeah, by then 6 years. And I would drill at the start of every class. I would be like, pick some people. How are you? How's the weather? What will you do tomorrow? What did you do yesterday? And just get those kind of sentences, past tense, future tense, whatever, into their system. Get them to use verbs. Yeah. And then they would like kind of graduate. 3-4 years later, I'd see them like in the street.
How are you?
Deku sensei. I'm like, how are you? Nani? Genki desu ka? Genki. What are you doing? Nani?
Nani
I'm
shite
like,
no.
oh my God. It's like, and what's the point of studying English if they forget everything? Even though they're now starting 2 years earlier, so like in maybe 20, 30 years time, there might be a kind of difference or shift.
Chance.
But it's the way it's taught. Apart from my classes, almost every English class is taught in Japanese, and it's all translation. So they're learning English in Japanese. when I studied German, I was good at German, man. I got like one of the highest. My aunt's German, and well, I didn't speak to her too much, but I got like one of the highest. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Do you know what that means?
Something about speaking expression.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I speak a little German. Yeah. But that's the thing. I think German and English are very similar.
I was going to say, and you get
like the verbs and everything.
But it's like with Miho, who you know, I was saying to her, yes, at this point, I'm pretty sure she's just fluent in English.
Very, yeah.
And like, she learned because she went to a Ryugakse, like a
study abroad
thing, which obviously not everyone has the opportunity to do. Not everyone has the interest in English, which would take them there as well. Yeah. But for her, the way that she learned was she went to classes that were in English, and she was forced to understand. I can't. Again, it's kind of like a backhanded thing for me because I've lived in Japan 2.5 years and my Japanese sucks. But that's just. It's not necessarily been like an unwillingness to learn. It's.
Yeah.
And like I just haven't immersed myself enough in the language.
Yeah.
And that is how you learn it, and teaching it in...
Yeah, being dropped in like the deep end, being forced.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, back to my German class point. Like my teacher, she was like, in this class,
no English.
We'll speak German. And it was like we'd open up the book and there would kind of be a little bit of English, a German, but it was mostly not, I'd say 90 to 95%, it was taught in German. And when you speak no German going into class, you're kind of like what? But it's like when we teach
into the
English,
deep end, learn to swim.
Yeah, it's like when I teach English, when I taught can, it was just like I can, and then like play basketball, or whatever.
But they're just there like dekiru.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you don't have to teach. You don't have to speak Japanese to teach English. So most people say like. Well, a lot of my friends are like, how do you teach English if they don't speak English?
That's the most common question.
Yeah, and like I would give you a basketball, and I would say like, I like basketball. I like basketball. Like raise my hand. Find someone who likes basketball. Give them a basketball. I would then go to the front of class and do that. I would say, come on, 3 points.
Yeah.
And they would try and throw it. And when it gets in, I'm like, oh, you can play basketball.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're connecting
or even
pictures with gestures.
Like, using pictures as well.
But like the Japanese teachers,
it's
say that in Japanese.
Open your text. Well, occasionally they'll be like, oh, please open your textbook to page whatever.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, okay, so this is the basic dialogue, and then they'll just explain it, and there isn't. Yeah. And
it's just reading and writing. 100%.
So when I was in my first year, for first grade, I had 2 teachers who I worked with. One of them, again, not technically legal, no one knows the school name, will not give it. They left the room for most of the lesson. The other one stayed and translated most things.
Yeah.
The half of the year that didn't have the teacher to translate, they understood so much more because they were forced to.
Yeah.
And obviously you're going to get classes where you go in and they just don't care, and that even if there's not a teacher there to translate, they'll use it as an excuse to not have to listen or pay attention.
Yeah.
But first graders are mostly good.
And I think that's what makes this is kind of turning into a teaching podcast, but
it was inevitable.
That's what makes the difference, I think, between a good and a bad teacher, because like as an ALT, which means assistant language teacher, we're there to assist, and sometimes it varies. I think the main problem is it varies what we're expected to do. The training as well isn't great, but also I think the Japanese teachers and the Board of Education don't know how to utilise us.
The Board of Education is the predominant problem with English language, English teaching and English learning in Japan. And the textbooks are written by elderly Japanese men in Tokyo.
Yeah, and sometimes the textbooks are wrong,
and there's so
many mistakes in them.
Whether it's wrong or right as well, it's so unnatural in terms of I feel like it should have started off. Well, one of the predominant problems as well with Japanese learning English is katakana, which is just a complete waste of fucking time.
Teachers should, from their first lesson, teachers should tell the students no katakana. Yeah. Because I try so many times, and
I'll walk over to first grades as well, and they'll write I like soccer, and soccer's in katakana. I'm like, I'm like, that's not English.
And my teachers go, it's easier for students to say it. I'm like, it should, even if it's easier, it shouldn't, because that's just going to stay in their mind for life.
And again, I speak with the perspective of Miho as well, who in terms of her pronunciation, it was practice and using and forcing herself to pronounce it in a way that she thought sounded native. And that's how they get it, is complete and utter repetition. And sometimes they'll slip up and it will be like the L would sound too much like R, and the is sir, like z, and that's that's normal, but at least there's the effort to try.
Yeah, it's like the same, like when you leave for class at the end of the day or leave school, you go like osaki shite shimasu. I couldn't say that shit, like
wait, what?
Like when you leave school at the end of the day,
what
you're meant to go like osaki ni shite shimasu.
I just say otsukare.
Oh, that's what they're meant to say to you.
No, I just say it now.
So like osaki ni is like before you. Shite shimasu, like being rude. Like, so sorry for leaving before you, and then they go, oh, let's go to some of this. My teachers just go like domo, but they're like cool, and I don't do any work anyway. If they had stand-up comedy in Japan, I reckon it would go down a storm.
I reckon there'd be some
really
funny there'd be some good Japanese stand-ups as well.
Yeah.
But then there's like what the closest they get is that foreign guy, the one who's like Japan. Why do you do that?
Atsuki Jason.
Why
Japanese people?
Yeah, and he's just like holding up kanji, and it's like the concept of that is kind of like pointing out the flaws, like why their kanji so weird. Yeah. But it's very much
it's delivered in a very Japanese way.
Yeah, and that's why I can't get behind it. Like if he did it where it was more like, this is strange.
Like if he didn't say like why Japanese people, if he actually used proper English.
But that's the thing, is because it's simple enough so that the everyday Japanese person can understand it.
Nande.
Yeah, it's just not as funny though, is it?
No. Right, this is about to die, so I think we should wrap it up. Maybe this is number 2.
I don't know. We
just talked for like an hour and a half, so
again, I could go for another 6 hours.
Hopefully people have liked this, but the battery is dying, Joe, and the battery is the master.
You're not going to bow, are you?
No. I was going to bow. I was literally going to bow. And then you said it, and I was just like...
Can't we do the really English way of signing off? And that's probably just calling each other a Until next time. I'm out.